for me to say that, looking at this current roster of the Olympic team, and say that these women did not deserve their chance and their spot that they grinded for year over year, is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. We're not talking about the W. We're not talking about the W. We are not talking about the W. We're talking about the Olympics.
I'm not talking about deserving.
But what are we talking about?
Introducing. Yeah, my name is Rodney. Yeah, we got the collarbone Samaria up in this thing. Hey, Samaria, what's up?
See, I knew I shouldn't have worn this tank top. I knew you was gonna say something about the tank top.
Feel the rays on your skin.
What's the weather where you at? Because you're giving fall.
It's cool wherever I'm at. It's cool wherever I'm at, baby. You feel what I'm saying? It's time to start the fumble.
So to the Olympics, where Jamaica's top sprinter Shericka Jackson has decided not to hit the track Friday for the women's 100-meter race in Paris. Jackson is citing an injury and personal matters as the reason for her withdrawal. So with back-to-back champion Elaine Thomas-Herah out with an Achilles injury this season, of course, this opens up the race for the clear favorite Sha'Carri Richardson, who has the fastest 100 time in the world this year. So Rodney, is this her race to lose now?
It was her race to lose even before Shericka pulled out. I don't know if you watched Sprint on Netflix, which was just a great docu-series about the track athletes' voyage into this upcoming Olympics, or this present Olympics rather. Sha'Carri was smoking boots. She was kicking booty out there. I ain't gonna lie to you. So it felt like we talked about earlier, she's just in a really, really good mental space, and she was fully prepared to kick the Jamaicans' ass. I'm sad that she won't have the opportunity to do that, with them at full strength. But, it's pretty much a 99.9% certainty that she'll walk away with gold in this event.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to see her not only compete against Shericka, but Elaine too, because she is the back-to-back champion in this race. Also, you have Sha'Carri, who has beaten Shericka. So I think that this was a business move for Shericka, because, come on, that you win in the 200. You want to just go get the gold. You said that you're battling injury, other personal matters. Just go on and do it. Shelly Ann is also competing in this race. I don't really know where she's gonna fall, and I think that the Jamaicans are and the Jamaicans also replaced Shericka with a runner. I think she finished 4th in the qualifier, so it's gonna still be a good race. But again, this is Sha'Carri's race, like we just said, to lose, because all things are pointing to her, even if she stumbles.
The margin for error, of course, is going to be slim. I mean, you're running 100 meters, very, very quick race, right? Finish in about 11 seconds. So, if you get out of the blocks a little bit late, a little stumble, whatever it is, anything can happen. But I just don't see a focused and dialed-in Sha'Carri losing this event. I do want to talk about a couple of other Olympic stories as well, just kicking off the top of the show. So obviously Simone Biles is the GOAT in gymnastics. She walked away with a gold medal. The entire team walked away with a gold medal. And I wanted to just talk about the incident that happened with MyKayla Skinner, a former teammate of Simone Biles, who had a caption calling the rest of Team USA's gymnastic team lazy, lacking talent. And just had some disparaging remarks to say about the team. What were your thoughts on MyKayla's interaction?
I feel like once you become an Olympic champion, or just even a part of the Olympic team, you're now part of this sisterhood. And so why are you even fixing your mouth to get on YouTube, to get on social media, to call this team lazy, say that they don't have the talent? You've won a silver medal. I think that's all she's won. Girl, come on. These are Olympic gold medalists that we're talking about at this time. I love the shade that they've been giving her. I love the heat they've been throwing MyKayla's way, because, girl, why?
Yeah.
Why?
And she blocked Simone too. Simone went to go directly at her neck. You know what I'm saying?
You
and she
can't
was like,
talk trash and then you can't talk trash and then block somebody. I just thought it was very tasteless. And now they literally proved you wrong, because this is one of the greatest teams that we've witnessed, if not the greatest. So, girl,
she should have held them comments until after the events to see what the what the end result was going to be. You can't talk crazy if I'm holding gold. Shut your ass up. Also, wanted to talk about a couple of other stories. So there is a boxer, a female boxer by the name of Imane Khelif. She beat her first opponent in 46 seconds. Now, that's great, right? But there is a little bit of controversy because Imane has some XY chromosomes, and there are some who's saying that she should not be allowed to compete against other female athletes because she is showing an escalated level of testosterone. And this is all natural. It's not because of drugs or anything. She was just born this way. But she clearly has a physical advantage over her opponents. What are your thoughts on Imane, but also the potential to incorporate trans athletes into competing against specific genders?
Okay, so this is really tough because I don't think that Imane is considered trans because I think
she's not. She's not. She is not.
Okay,
I want to be very clear about that. She is not.
Okay, because she was raised as a girl. She was raised as a woman. And biologically, if you look at her, she looks like a woman. So it's just so tough when you have like these genetic issues. I would hate for somebody not to be able to compete in a sport that they love because they were born with some.
It's a tough conversation to navigate because you want to make sure that you're respectful, and I totally get it.
Now for trans, I think it's different.
Okay, so you feel like trans athletes should just have their own category, like the trans fighting other trans people? How do you feel like that should? That's what I think. I think you should have male, female, then a trans category.
No, you have to do. You have to still do trans women, trans men. You have to do like 4 different categories.
All right, we gonna move on. We gonna close it out because I don't want to get in trouble. I love everybody. I want everybody to win a gold medal. There we go. Yeah. Let us know your thoughts in our comments section about Shericka pulling out of the 100 meters. But also, we want to hear your opinion and thoughts on Imane Khelif, whether or not she should be competing against other female boxers. Hey, Samaria, I'm excited right now because I got somebody that I'm a huge fan and supporter of. We have meaningful conversations whenever we are connected. She is from New Jersey. She is a member of the Rutgers Basketball Hall of Fame. She has a basketball court named after her in Patterson. She went to Patterson East Side. I'm pretty sure they got her numbers hanging in the rafters somewhere, right? She's a former number 7 overall draft pick in the WNBA back in 2008. A phenomenal musician, just a beautiful human being. And despite what she wore on draft day, she is stylish. I want to let y'all know she is stylish.
Look, man.
Give it up for Essence Carson.
I appreciate the intro. I definitely do. Just a little disclaimer here. It was 2008, that was a time of the big suits.
Oh no, I gotta look it up.
No, dude, I look like the best librarian.
But we from Jersey. We supposed to know better than that. But Patterson is its own world.
So come on,
I understand if you had a little slip.
Come on.
It's all good.
Come on.
It's all good.
Let's pivot to the Olympics. There was a lot of discourse about the team, the roster itself. Did you feel like they made the best decision on the women that they picked?
Why don't we ask the real question? Do you feel like it was a mistake leaving Caitlyn and Angel off the team? Have they stunted or cut their nose off to spite their face by not putting these women on the Olympic team? Samaria.
That's the question? No, I don't. I don't think so. And that doesn't mean that the women that you mentioned are not capable of competing at that level. They decided to go with this team. And people have to understand when you're building a team, right? And whether you're a general manager or whether you're a coach, it's about what pieces work together, right? And what pieces work together within whatever that coach's philosophy is. And that can vary. Sometimes in fans or people on the outside minds, they just think like all the best players, right? 1 through 10, ranking players 1 through 10, 1 through 12, 1 through 15. Those players should go. But when you're sitting in the coach's chair or a general manager chair, it's just like, okay, what players can we put together that will actually work together? You've seen this on the men's side as well. There's no different. You're attempting.
Essence.
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm being real.
I love it.
On the men's side, it's the same story. It's the same story. There's plenty of greats
I
that
get
been
it.
left off.
If you putting together,
come on.
If you got to play a 60-game regular season, I understand everything you are talking about. We are talking about an exhibition that has the potential to help grow the game, right? So you have these two polarizing individuals. Yes, the '92 Olympic team on the men's
Hmm.
side globalized the game of basketball and made it
Who was on
an
that team and who was
investment
not
in
on that
other
team?
countries'
But
interests.
who was on that team and who was not on that
The
team?
only the only person who wasn't on that team of note is Isaiah
Okay,
Thomas,
what
right?
is he or
And
was he not one of the greatest point guards to ever touch a basketball? To ever touch a
surely,
okay, all right. You
but we
look,
can
come on.
also we can
Come on.
no, but we had to placate the greatest player of all time in Michael Jordan. We had to make sure that he was accommodated because of everything that he brought to the
Okay.
table, and
I'm
he
glad you said that.
single-handedly in many countries popularized the game. Are we disagreeing
I
in
am
that?
not disagreeing with that. But do you think that that can't be
Okay.
true on the women's side? I'm not saying that that is the case. But why would could that not be the case?
Because now we have a proven formula. We have a proven commodity that has single-handedly swung viewership, right, in the W. And I'm not saying that she's changed the game and she's brought, I won't say all of that. I'm talking about the attention. The women's Olympic game that took place the other day versus Japan was the lowest attended game for all women's basketball games in the Olympics. That's saying something. There's an
Yeah.
investment and an interest by fans in wanting to see Caitlyn and Angel play. And I don't understand why you would rob fans of the opportunity to have that experience, while also I feel like diminishing this ascension that the W and women's basketball as a whole is on.
I
My
think
perspective.
I mean, and
Love it.
you have some valid points there, but at the end of the day, this Olympic team has always won gold medals, right? Maybe people are
For
tired of
sure.
seeing that, right? What is the point of me showing up to this game when we know this team's gonna win? Oh,
Great point.
is
Great
very
point.
is that simple? Do you think that really? First of all, who is attending the Olympics, right? Who has bought these tickets to go to the Olympics to attend these games? Do you think that and again, this is not aimed at these two specific players from my perspective. This is across the board, right? Do you truly think that those two players will actually swing the pendulum to actually have those fans that paid their good hard-earned money to travel to the Olympics to an international event? We're not talking about a domestic event here in America where you can turn on the TV, right, and just watch this, right? And the way this is completely different. The landscape is different, and I think it will behoove me to not understand the differences of the landscape here domestically versus what it is internationally. And when you're looking at sport and when you're looking at women's basketball, it doesn't matter at this point. They will
It
come back.
okay.
They will have their chance. They will have, and they know they will have their chance. They know that. I
Maybe,
mean, maybe
maybe somebody will be injured and won't be able to play,
barring,
and then you
of
miss out on
course,
the
but
opportunity.
guess
These things
these
happen. You know
things,
that
yeah,
nothing is
it's part of
guaranteed.
sports, right? Barring no, barring injuries, barring all of that, we know that. We understand that if you're injured, then you can't compete. You won't have a chance. We saw Brent go down, right? And she was not able to compete on in the 3x3, right? So we understand that,
Hmm.
right? But for me to say that looking at this current roster of the Olympic team and say that these women did not deserve their chance and their spot that they grinded for year over year is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. We're not talking
Des-
about the W. We're not
deserve
talking about the W. We are not talking about the W. We're
We not
talking
talking
about
about
the Olympics.
where I'm not talking about deserving. I'm just talking
But what
about
are we talking
globalizing
about?
the women's game. And you've been an international player too. You've won
Yeah.
championships in multiple leagues abroad. So I understand that I gotta give reverence to your experiences. I do. But as a fan, I was so desiring to see them on that stage and platform. And because America is the epicenter of basketball, right? This is other countries do watch very closely what goes on here athletically, right? Especially in basketball. I still feel like it's a huge miss to not have those two ladies a part of this roster. But I do want to move on because that's a debate that'll just never
Oh
end. I
yeah.
got my position,
Yes.
you got your position, and I respect
Yeah.
And also
and love
3
yours.
million people watched the game too. So let's not
Yeah.
lose sight of that.
Yeah.
That's good numbers. That's not bad numbers.
Streaming.
That's great numbers. I think. All right.
Come
Anyway, so this
Samari's
I
like,
can't even
yes,
win.
yes, girl.
Anyway, on that note, we getting out of here. Yo, Essence, I so very much appreciate you, man. Like you're such a beautiful spirit and
Thank
energy.
you.
Thank you. I wish you nothing but the best in any venture that you venture out into. So anytime you need me, I am here. You are official Fumble family. So thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you guys for having me, Samaria. You always got one supporter in me as well as Rodney. Thank you
Oh,
guys. This
thank
was
you.
great. I love conversations like this where we could just, just talk and so thank you guys. And yeah, much love.
Peace, beloved.
Peace.
All right, let's move over to men's basketball. Team USA cruising to another victory, taking down South Sudan 103-86 in a highly anticipated rematch. But once again, everyone is talking about who didn't play. Wednesday, it was Joel Embiid. However, this one was a blowout thanks to the second unit, Bam Adebayo, finishing with a team high 18 points, 7 boards as the USA advances to the quarterfinals. How much was that first matchup, Rodney, against South Sudan maybe a wake-up call for Team USA to really kind of take things seriously moving forward in the Olympics?
I think it was a huge wake-up call. They all kind of acknowledged it. They all said that they had a healthy fear of Sudan heading into this game. And you can tell from the outset that they were really ready to play. They were locked in. Kerr made some adjustments to his starting lineup. We'll talk more about that in the Fumble of the Week. But yeah, no, they looked really dialed in. The Sudanese team having Royale Ivy, New York's own, Queens' own Royale Ivy as their head coach creates like a different level of like competitive fervor because he's really, really good friends with Kevin Durant and a number of other guys on the Olympics team. And he be talking crazy. If you know Roy, he be going smack. So I think in addition to just being afraid of losing and embarrassing themselves, they also wanted to stick it to Roy one good time as well.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no one doubting that Team USA is arguably the most talented team right now in the Olympics.
Arguably? Who gonna create a different argument? Who gonna say something different?
Somebody else in a different country, sir. What are you talking about? Anyways, I cannot imagine that they literally don't practice inside. That's crazy to me. That they don't have a single.
Yeah, but they don't. This team wasn't put together necessarily in Sudan. A lot of these players on this team are American. So I think that the team represents the country, but I'm pretty sure they've had training in a real gym. I just want to be clear about that.
No, that is what they said. It is being reported that they have no indoor practice facilities. So
in the country?
Training outside. In the country, yes.
But they weren't training in the country, were they?
I think they probably were, sir. Why do you think they weren't?
Well, because they don't have any indoor facilities. And I just... In addition to our USA basketball team 5-on-5, we have a 3-on-3. We have 2 3-on-3 teams as well. 1 men's, 1 women's. Both of them are ass. Okay, I don't know if you've kept up with this. Both teams are 0-2. The men's team, I don't even. They have Jimmer Fredette, who I know, but. They have Kenyon Barry, who's ironically a child of Rick Barry. I didn't know Rick Barry still had kids young enough to play sports. Kareem Maddox and Dylan Travis. Those are the 4 names for our men's 3-on-3 basketball team, none of which are recognizable, none of which are elite athletes. And the 3-on-3 basketball game is super quick twitch. Like, you take it out of the net, you run back to the 3-point line. It's like very, very fast moving. And they don't have athletes of an elite caliber that represent basketball in America. I don't know how they choose these players. I don't know how they put this pool of players together, but they had to do a better job. And the same for our women's team, who is also winless as of this report.
Yeah,
have you checked out these games?
I have, and I think that that's just so stunning to me that, especially the women's team, I'm like, we can't win a 3-on-3. I'm like, do y'all need to get some guys from the big 3? Like, do we need to? Because I'm confused as to why. Is it coaching? Are they just, because there's no way y'all are 0-2 right now.
I think it's a different game. It's an entirely different game. It's not, there's no, like, it's not a you score a basket, you check up. No, it's like the ball goes through the net, you gotta move quickly. And maybe the pace of the WNBA game, which Caitlyn is slowly changing, by the way, is just a little bit more slow and subdued than what this experience is. And so these players are having a rough time adjusting. But again, I mean, they have 3 WNBA players and Haley Van Lith, 3-time transfer in college basketball, and it just doesn't seem to be like a winning formula or recipe. I wish they would get it together, though, because we can't be losing in anything basketball related. This is an atrocity.
Yeah, and I'm sure, like, in other countries, they probably have devoted the last 4 years training for this, whereas, like you just mentioned, these are people that play in a normal league now trying to transfer their game into a 3-on-3 league, and it's not doing well. So maybe we need to have, like, we have the big three, but those are like retired guys. So maybe
yeah, well, not all of them. We need Joe Johnson. Get Joe Johnson, Jeff Teague, and Montrezl Harrell. Get them three, and we'd be good money. That court is also not played on wood; it's played on like a rubbery court, which makes handling the ball a little bit different. There are some slight adjustments that have to be made from just the court that they're playing on. But regardless, inexcusable. We should not be losing. Y'all let us know your thoughts on Team USA, but also our 3-on-3 team being ass. Okay, time for Fumble of the Week. So, Steve Kerr is one of the most decorated names in NBA history. He boasts 9 total championships, 5 as a player, 4 as a coach, and many consider him to be one of the 5 greatest coaches of all time. But his rotations as the head choice of the Team USA men's basketball team have been, let's just say, not good. I understand it has to be really tough, Samaria, to balance a team of so many superstars, right? You probably got some egos out there, but there is no situation or circumstance under which Jason Tatum should not get a minute on a basketball court, right? So in the USA's first game against Serbia, he sat Tatum for the entire game. The man was at the end of the bench with Tyrese Halliburton playing I Declare War and Uno, all kinds of nonsense, and I just couldn't quite understand it. Steve Kerr chose to instead play Derek White, Devin Booker, and Drew Holiday, and 2 of those players are on Jason Tatum's team. They rode his coattails to an NBA championship, and by all accounts, they can't sniff Jason Tatum's draws as an all-around talent. And I love all 3 of those guys. Now, I can see if Tatum was some one-dimensional, slew-footed bum, but he can literally play every position 1 through 4. Literally, every position 1 through 4. He is an elite shot maker, a superb defender. He has size, strength, athleticism. There is nothing on a basketball court that Jason Tatum cannot do, and certainly cannot do better than Derek White. We'll just leave it there. This is Jason Tatum coming off of winning a championship, being named first team All-NBA. So you have to give Jason Tatum an opportunity to fail before you give a guy like Derek White a chance to thrive. And I just couldn't quite wrap my mind around Steve Kerr making a decision to sit a guy who also, in addition to being the highest paid player in the NBA, I'm sure has some sponsorship situations tied into his presence in the Olympic Games, right? And so this has the ability to impact and affect his business away from the sport, and you just can't do that. Steve Kerr said that he can't find a situation or scenario in which he plays 12 guys in 40 minutes. It's nonsense. It's a lie. He played 11 yesterday against Sudan. The only person who did not play was Joel Embiid, which also irked me because you have this Cameroonian-born man not going up against the lone African nation team in the Olympics. Steve Kerr, for these atrocities you have committed in the 2024 Parisian Olympics, sir, you are getting the Fumble of the Week. Samaria, what are your thoughts on Steve Kerr receiving the Fumble of the Week?
I'm not necessarily mad at it, but I will say that it seems like he's attempting to tailor the rotations around their opponent, right? And so they played South Sudan, so maybe they were looking to play faster, so maybe that's why he sat Joel down. I'm not really sure. He even said himself after the first game against Serbia that he wasn't happy about the rotations, or maybe how people perceive the rotations, but he has gone out and said that this is like a team effort. Like, it feels like they're all working together. He says that the guys trust him. They understand what guys are not going to play and who's going to play, and everybody seems to be okay with it. So as long as there's not any animosity on the team, I'm okay with it, to be honest with you. They're winning, they're beating the brakes off of teams, so
exactly. So
I'm not
if they're
so then you're saying that he should just check Joel and just
playing Jason Tatum, are you going to lose your 20-point lead if Jason Tatum touches the floor? Is that what we're implying here? It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, if that's the case, then don't bring 12 players then. Don't bring 12 players. I don't want to see a situation where Jason Tatum was on the bench with the stank face. He was pissed.
I know.
He wasn't happy about it. So that statement in and of itself that everybody is fine and working together, no, I want to play. I got a pregnant girlfriend at home who could give birth at any moment. I didn't come all this way to be sitting on the bench, with my good hairline. That's nonsense. It's a waste of a hairline, not playing that brother. And again, like, Jason Tatum is a prototypical he was the second best player on the last Olympics team, right, behind Kevin Durant. And it just doesn't. Steve Kerr is pissing me off because he's also not starting Ant-Man, and I don't get his rotations, yo. And it's like really annoying because it feels like, I'm not gonna say favoritism, but it feels like he's so headstrong, which we all heard that he has been. That's why Michael Jordan punched him in his shit. But he's being really headstrong and not being adaptable to the situation and circumstance. And I feel like a great coach, a Popovich, would never do this to a guy of Jason Tatum's caliber.
Well, do you feel like a star or stars like Tatum and Embiid, do you feel like it's more disrespectful to just not play them at all, or is it more disrespectful to have them coming off the bench?
No, you never play a guy in cleanup duties. That's not right. You're not going to,
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. So maybe
him.
that's his thought process.
But you can play him. You can find 5 to 7 minutes in the first half of a game to put Jason Tatum in. Like, you can find 14 minutes in the game, 12 to 14 minutes in the game for Jason Tatum to rock out. You don't have to play LeBron James 27 of 40 minutes. Like, you don't have to do that. You sat Joel Embiid versus Sudan, which I probably understand because Joel Embiid is he's still recovering from his injuries. He's been a little slew-footed. He's injury prone. And so maybe you give him a night off of rest, whatever. Like, I understand that. But, like, by and large, there should never be a scenario in which there's another game. Tyrese Halliburton can sit his ass down, too, because he shouldn't be there. But outside of that, like, there should always be an opportunity for all of the elite players on this team to find minutes. You can't sell me on the idea that you can't figure out how to do that. You just can't.
I just feel like this is a team of guys that they do not shy away from speaking out and saying how they feel. So I feel like I feel like they talking. Really?
Yo,
you're trying to tell me you're a superstar in the NBA and you feel like you're over here in the Olympics and you don't think that you can have a meeting with Steve Kerr?
I think that on a global stage, on a global platform, you want to be as minimally problematic as possible. And so you might swallow and bite your tongue way more than you would on an Olympic team, than you would your NBA team, where you are the man and the entire building is predicated on who and what you are. So yeah, I feel like in this situation and circumstance, this is an environment for players who feel like they have to go along to get along, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. Y'all let us know your thoughts on Steve Kerr receiving the fumble of the week. Is he doing a good or terrible job managing the roster for the USA men's Olympic team?
All right, that's all for this week. Thank you so much for joining us for another great episode of The Fumble. Make sure to subscribe to The Fumble and at The Fumble Sports on all of our social media platforms. We deliver the latest in sports every day on our YouTube page with our girl Jackie Ray, and then every Friday right here on The Fumble with myself, Samaria Terry, and Rodney Rakai.
Peace.